Hey, Zeus here, otherwise known as Parth. And there's Chris, otherwise known as Truth. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, dude. Fantastic.
So, for the viewers, this is kind of like a little bit of a coffee time slash podcast to answer some frequently asked questions between people or between our viewers for Arcane Legends. I don't want to keep answering these questions, so we had an idea uh, for us to compile the most frequently asked questions and we just answer them. And this way you get to hear us too. You can put like a voice to the face or voice to the character, I guess. Um,
Yes, sir.
and I think we should start with the first question. So, Chris, why did you quit Arcane Legends? And then after that, why did you come back to Arcane Legends? And why did you leave Purge? So you can answer one at a time, and I'll just remind you of questions later.
Yep, threefold answer. All
Yeah.
right, let's see. So, first answer, I quit Arcane Legends around 2019. Yeah, I realized, college is about to begin. I need to start focusing, like, get into the groove of just, you know, undivided attention towards college and school. I was still in high school at that time, but Arcade Legends kind of seemed like a job for the past countless years. I mean, like three or four. Um, it was just one thing after another. I mean, some of them I undeniably started, but um, it just felt like an actual occupation. Like if I didn't play every day for a certain amount of time, something would go wrong, someone would get upset, and then I would face the heat. So
Yeah,
that's the
no,
answer to that one.
I know all about PvPing for Purge. It's like a damn full time job, except you don't even get paid minimum wage for that job. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's basically slave labor. But
yeah,
second, um, came back because of COVID. I was bored. Not really much you can do on a college campus when everything's locked down. I'm located in Michigan, so all of the restaurants are closed. Basically, all of the activities that you could do on campus were closed. People were super sketched out, and fair enough. I mean, I was too. College campus of 40,000 people, you're bound to run into somebody that's got COVID. So it's just better to, minimize your risk. I don't really have that high of a risk tolerance, so didn't really, I saw friends occasionally, but COVID basically
it
drew
really
me back into
limits.
Arcane Legends.
Yeah, because it really limits your contact with people. So you're gonna want to be social
Mm,
somehow. I get that. That's the same reason why I came back actually, and I quit for similar reasons too. I wanted to finish my degree, so I was like, okay, well, I want to make something of my life, and that's why I quit back in like 2017. And now I feel like I'm doing pretty well for myself. I mean, most people my age have not built what I've built, so I
exactly.
I feel pretty proud of that. Um, and obviously, like I just said, why I came back, same thing. I'm bored because of COVID. I mean, I work from home now, and besides that, there's nothing to do. What do you got to do besides during COVID? Gym, work, and that's it. There's nowhere to go. You can't fly anywhere. Well, you can fly, but then you're kind of being selfish.
Mm,
So I'm not that type of person. Um,
yeah.
and followed by this, why did you leave Purge, Chris or Truth? I'm just gonna call you Chris from here on out for the viewers. When I call Truth Chris, that means I'm addressing Truth because calling him Truth is just weird. We're two adults. I'd rather just call a person by his first name and not in-game name because I'm not obsessed with this game. So, all right,
A
go
lot
ahead.
of people, a lot of people know me as Chris. So, um, why did I leave Purge? I would say mainly it boils down to three reasons. So the first and foremost being I made up with you guys. So back in like back after the feud basically ended, like I lined Parth Zeus It's like, yo, you know, it was a good fight, good war, lots of drama, but it's pretty much over now. We both got our licks in. I'm sorry for some of the things that I said, and you may or may not get this. Literally, like I had no idea. It's like he may or may not receive this, but he did. I think it was like couple months later. You were like, "Yo, it's all good. Sorry too." Blah blah blah. We made up, and then his side, all the people that were involved with Fiend and Castle and such were like, "Yo, we're chill too now." I'm like, "Bet." So made up with you guys. They absolutely did not tolerate that. Um, I told them, I was like, "Yo, I basically made up with pretty much everyone," and they're like, "Really?" And so they're starting to call me like soft, stuff like that, blah blah blah. And I'm like, whatever. And so I think it was in Hexamay's house where I was like, yeah, like I'm probably gonna still PvP with them. I'll try to make it so that we can have some fun clashes now. Not care about win or loss, blah blah blah. And it was very very easy to read that room. Like when I say reading the room, I mean like just telling the overall vibe that Purge gave off.
Yeah.
They were still not happy. They still felt like they had stuff to prove. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know why they called you soft because if I recall correctly, I don't even need to recall. We have the screenshots for it. Um, they wanted you out for me, and they called you soft when they were trying to make amends with me behind your back. So I always found that kind of funny that they
Yeah,
did something.
that's something else that I need to get to. But before that, first and foremost, friends.
Yeah.
Basically, I had friends on both sides. You know, I I, I can safely say that I would have considered Purge, very close friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like still during this time, but then I started to realize, they're probably not going to be um, so accepting, I guess, of my newfound friends or
Yeah. So
whatever you would call them. So,
so I guess next question is, why are you playing against Purge now, Chris?
um, that question kind of ties in with my second reason for leaving, which is I came back. So before I say this, a couple of years ago, when Drug and Icy had first joined Purge, I think you were still there.
Yeah, I
Um,
was. They were quiet
some of
back
the
then.
OGs, some of the OGs will remember. They were very quiet. They were very quiet. I had heard a lot about Icy. I heard that she was a twink at like level 12 or something.
Yeah, but I used to get
A lot of
daily
drama. Brought a shit ton of twink drama to Purge, and I'm like, wow, just what we need.
more drama.
And and I'm like, why is she here? And then Tara's like, oh, I'm dating her now, and I'm like, oh, well, okay, fair enough, whatever. And so, we start winning some matches. I played with her. We won a fair amount of matches together. Obviously, I carried, but that's a different topic. I digress. Um, but she started to get a bigger and bigger ego. I mean, I'm 16 at the time. My ego is through the roof. I'm thinking, wow, like I am literally one of the best Arcade Legends players ever. Like no one compares to me. Blah blah blah. And I feel like that might have rubbed off on them, but there's no excuse for that because they're all in their 20s at this time. Like I'm a teenager. They're all in their 20s.
Yep.
So her brother starts getting better. Like he's a recruiter. He becomes officer. Gets a big head. Gets better. I'll give him that. And we start playing clashes. He starts playing as he begins to play over oh, what's his name,
Moss.
Shady,
Oh, Shady. I
Unforgive.
remember Shady. I remember Shady.
Yeah, Unforgive.
Yeah.
Starts to play over him. And so I'm like, all right, okay. So he starts to get a big head, and then that's when everything just kind of fell down, started going downhill. I'm like, wow, these guys are actually getting kind of toxic. Like it's just different level because whenever I would trash talk,
You
I
kept a
always
good
thought
game.
like, okay, maybe I can get in their head. throw them off a little bit. But they just like they would literally research people. They'd be like, "Yo, find everything you can on this person in real life. You know, search for their Instagram, search for their whatever, harass them and harass their fucking emails, blah blah blah." I'm like, wow, that is like evil. Like that's like next level try hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Kind
they
of
started. I mean, I'd say it's safe to say that they made Laura quit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. If you're being harassed by people in a game like she was, then fair enough. But they'll probably take that as a compliment that they made someone quit. But
That's how fucked up in their head they
are. They were super toxic. For instance, we used to like roast each other for fun. Drug would get so absolutely butthurt whenever I would make a roast to him, and he would just pull out something racist. And so, I mean, it just bounces off me. I don't fucking care. But I would say something back, and he would leave the guild, and he would demand an apology after calling me literally every derogatory name in the book.
But his first name was his first name was fitting for that. I mean, he called himself a boy, so he acted like a boy, not a man. So.
He acted like a boy. But yeah, Icy and Drug, super toxic people. That's the second reason why I left. And then the third, like, it was just boring.
Mm-hmm.
It was boring. Like, I still had so much love for those people. I mean, I don't now, obviously, but I still had so much love for those people. But it was just, I felt like it was time for a change of scenery. So I was like, I might just guild hop a little bit. Well, obviously that didn't work out because they got heated because I figure that they think they could replace me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they thought Zix was ready to replace me, which he wasn't.
Yep.
And he's not ready to fill. He's not ready to fill the
shoes
back-breaking job of carrying Purge.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he might get there eventually. I have nothing bad to say against Zix. So
he's a good rogue. He's just like I said. Like he's just confused.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know like what these people are all about really because he just sees the surface. He doesn't look beyond. He doesn't look into the deeper meaning of what they say. Like their little microaggressions and such. Like, he's just like, oh yeah, they're just joking. I hope they're just joking. Terror busts out the N-word. He's like, oh, that's just a joke. That's just a joke.
So the way I've read people is I've always seen or I always look how they treat their worst enemies, and from that I judge how they are as a person and if they're worth even associating myself with, right? So when I see that shit, I know I'm like, okay, you guys are toxic through and through, and I am gonna take great pleasure in farming you in PvP and humiliating you a little bit because I mean, it just feels good to be kind of an asshole to really shitty people. So
we're doing them a favor. You know? Eventually, they'll be so negative in their losses that they'll just quit and focus on real life.
What after the 18-3 in Honor, they quit for like 3 months. Nobody saw them. They were just like ghosts. It was kind of funny.
Our time will come. I'll never forget that. He's like, our time will come.
And they still have not clashed.
He posts one video.
I know. They still have not clashed again in Honor. They're like so shook. It's kind of funny. And they won't even clash in normal PvP either unless it's like a mage against 2 rogues. They like want to try to set up our team, which is kind of funny because somebody who thinks they're good doesn't try to rig the other side. They're like, all right, you bring your best, I bring my best. Let's see what happens. But nah, they're not like that. They're kind of pussy, but I digress.
Go ahead.
No, I digress. You go ahead.
They have the means to play 2 tanks and 2 rogues because Zix borrows Rip's gear. Like, that's just undeniable. He borrows Karn's gear. I mean, maybe he has his own set, sure, but I'm willing to bet that most of the pieces are made up of Karn's gear.
Yeah.
And then Icy has always been max.
Yep.
She's always been maxed as fuck. So she could lend that to Monkey. But Monkey's on mage. So when they talk about washed up rogues, they're like, you're so washed up, blah, blah, blah. They've won 2 matches against me at endgame.
I think
they've won 2.
I think they won 2 or 3 against me, which is not a big deal because if they play one mage, one rogue, yeah, sure. The first match or two I might lose, but I mean, I'm through and through a better rogue, so are you. So you'll learn, and then they just won't clash again when they realize they're starting to take losses. And even if you add up all their losses, it's still like what 22-5, 22-6, something like that.
I'm 24-5
You're
against them.
24
That's
to
all I
5.
have to say.
I think I'm 23-5 because I played one less game with you.
Mm,
I'm 23-6. I mean, or played one less game or something like that. So
yeah,
yeah. Um.
that's not counting my verses against Zix, by the way.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't think I counted my verse against Zix too. That's the other thing. Zix was like, yeah, verses don't mean anything, which I do agree with. They do not mean anything because things, a lot of verse can be luck, especially in honor. But the way he was playing, he lost to three different people with three different sets, and your set is like way less than anybody's in terms of stats, and he still lost to you by. He should have easily won, but he didn't,
Yep.
and he lost to me pretty heavily, and he lost to Delta. He was losing to Delta heavily, and then I guess Delta just kind of threw at the end a little bit because he was like, "I'm bored. I want to get this over with." So I mean, I did
Mm-hmm.
that at the end too. Like the last two kills, I played pretty sloppy, so I get that. So
Mm-hmm.
all right, I don't want to trash Zix because, like I said, I don't think he's that person. I just think he's confused, like you said as well. So
Zix is confused. He's not a bad person.
no, I don't. I mean, I completely agree, and I like his brother Marsu too. He's a good guy, Marsu.
Marsu is a good guy. I like Marsu,
Yeah,
but I would say, at some point in a rogue 1v1, it just boils down to mechanical skill.
yeah.
And, not to fucking,
You either have it or
roast,
you don't.
not to roast Zix, but, the mechanics just weren't there
Yeah,
at some points.
exactly. Like sometimes you
So,
have to make those difficult decisions of when to SP versus when to throw a aim versus when to rush, and I don't see that in his gameplay. Maybe he'll figure it out one day, but we'll see.
but to answer the general question that was asked, why am I playing against them? Um, when I left, obviously Terror instantly started beef because I guess he wanted to kind of try to farm me out of PvP before I could find some people to PvP with. And so I was like, "Yo, Parth, you wanna tear down Purge with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, sure. I have nothing better to do. It's COVID." And so we started playing again. Became friends with a lot of Precise members. Started PvPing with them, and so didn't go well for Purge. I firmly believe that it will continue to not go well for them, but you never know. Maybe they'll turn it around. Maybe their practice in CTF that they do every day instead of clashing us will one day pay off.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. But in my opinion, in order to get practice against, it's in order to get good against someone, you have to face someone tougher than you. Like if Zix is facing Monkey, it's not really learning anything. So
True.
all right,
That's
so
true.
I think you had some questions for me, right? You already covered, I think,
Yep.
two of them before because I mixed it in with the others. But you go ahead. So
Yep. Couple questions. So, um, I guess the most burning question for people after watching a lot of Terror Shock's lives on YouTube is, do you macro?
well, I mean, I feel like you can answer that too because we usually clash on call together. You can pretty much hear my keys spamming like crazy. And on a macro, you don't need to spam keys because the way macros work is a macro is a defined set of actions that occur based on a button or a key that you press, right? And it will
Yep.
occur the exact same way 100% of the time in the specified speed that you specified as long as you don't go over your CPU clock cycle. Now, I know this because I'm a software engineer, so that's a very technical explanation of it, but no, bottom line, no, because I can explain to you, I can explain to you why I don't. Because every single situation in PvP whether you're against a roll, you cannot just program a set end all be all rule like, oh, every single time I'm going to aim and I'm going to SP, or I'm going to aim, I'm going to Nox, I'm going to SP. No, sometimes you need to throw just one aim or just one Nox,
Yep.
or hey, I need to pierce around this rock right now. And okay, that's, let's say if you define, you set that as macros, that would be like one, two, three, four. You'd have to do a permutation for it, so it would be like 36 different permutations. There's not even enough fingers on your hand for you to define 36 different macros to um, for each
Situation you might
you
find
yeah
yourself
each
in.
situation you find yourself in PvP. And if you're already doing that, then you might as well just learn how to do it by yourself rather than calling on a macro, because it'll be faster than you remembering which macro key you assigned your uh, specific skill combination to, right? So yeah, you could macro in PvP. It's just going to be worse. You'll die a lot more. So
Yep.
to answer that question, no, I don't macro. And if I did, I would probably suck a lot more. So yeah, I don't get why people do that. But you know what? Sometimes you do need to have some excuses. Red sparkles, that was a pretty good excuse to her. So
That's
uh,
actually my next question. So, did you edit in red sparkles into that 30-minute long video?
well, I mean, look how fanboy-ish they get about Zix's 5-minute video that he self-admits takes hours to edit. Now that footage we had was pretty much unedited because I like to show what exactly happens in PvP. So if I if I created some red sparkles, one, it wouldn't be the exact same as STG sparkles, and then two, I would have to try to have those red sparkles follow each character on each screen for over 2 hours. The amount of editing you would need to do for that is insane. So, and to begin with, I didn't even know red sparkles existed on Honor until Purge accused us of using gear in Honor PvP. I mean, every time they lose, they have one excuse or two excuses, and they just keep crying about it. And I always find that funny. But back to the point, no, it's just you're not going to be able to edit a video that long unless you're like a Hollywood film producer that's putting that much effort into creating a movie where the effects have to follow the character or the actor. And even Hollywood film producers fuck up. You see it in Marvel movies all the time. The effects don't actually follow the person sometimes, or they are like a little bit buggy, right? They don't look right. So yeah, that is just retarded, and I don't know. Sorry, I should not say the retarded word because some people, that's a medical condition. That's fucked up with me. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think that's a very stupid accusation, and it shows how uneducated they are. And
Yep.
I mean, dude, come up with a better reason why you lost, because 18-3, you can't say, okay, I understand you're in such disbelief that you lost so badly. You're like, there has to be gear. There has to be gear involved, because man, if I lost that badly, I might say the same thing. But honestly, you were just outplayed, and you guys are still salty about it. That's okay. It was meant to hurt. It was meant for you guys to be salty. So our whole reason of that clash was achieved. And every time you complain about it, we laugh a little inside because of that. Because like you're literally just proving our point. So all right,
Yep.
is that all? Is that all the questions?
Well, actually, I do get asked this quite frequently. People ask me, what do you think about this player? What do you think about this player? A lot of them from Purge. Um, so I'll give my unbiased opinion on a lot of the players in Purge. And maybe some of them will be unpopular opinions, but we'll see. So let's start with the Guildmaster, Terror Shock. In my honest opinion, I think that mechanically he is a pretty good player. I think that's safe to say. I think everyone would agree that Terror is undeniably a good player. He has his mistakes. He has his moments where, obviously some rookie mistakes, but solid player, bad person. But um, I would say, his girlfriend is really like his main character flaw, like his fatal flaw, so to say.
Yep.
Um, and going from there, his girlfriend, I think she's an absolutely horrible player.
And horrible
Um,
person.
she's
But
always had trouble mechanically. It's a very simple game. You have four skills, but somehow it just never clicked with her, even though she did twinking. Um, Horrible person. There's no redeeming quality there. So going from there, her brother, I mean, probably the best player from Purge. That's going to go right to his head, but probably the best player from Purge, which is not saying a lot because, I mean, he's still like on my tier list of tanks. He's probably like closer to ninth or 10th, I would say. But yeah, he's solid tank.
wait, can I go back to that for 1 second? So, if you put Drug and Nasty together, you have to compare them. Who would you say walks away as the better tank?
Drug.
Drug? Okay, you think so?
Yep. Yep.
All right.
They're probably gonna make a video saying we're trying to put them against each other, but that's just my honest opinion.
No, I
I
was just
think Drug is
asking because
better.
I was genuinely curious. For me, my opinion is I've never played with Drug. No, I played with him before in Honor. He's decent, and I like. See, Nasty's aggressive, so I like his playstyle. And Tara, this might get to your head, but yeah, I like your playstyle. But then sometimes he doesn't know when to pull back. So I do agree that Drug's a safer win, but Nasty, if you use him right, he can be like he can do a blowout win. But there's also the chance that he might throw a game because of the extremely aggressive playstyle he does.
True.
Okay,
True.
so there's more players than that in Purge. So who's the next that you were going to review?
The next one is Monkey,
Oh, I had a feeling
Mr.
about that.
Clemsy himself.
I had a feeling about that. That dude, I heard he's a doctor, dude. Really good,
Dude,
really
yeah,
good
he's a
friend.
doctor apparently, with hours and hours to spend on a video game. But
Yeah.
Monkey is hard to explain. So when I was in Purge, he was my rogue partner. Given we as rogues were playing against you and Ares, or you and Jack, and any combination of those, like those three mainly, or Mike
Mm-hmm.
too. And so every single game with Temzi, I had to play at 150% capacity, or we were going to lose. It was very black and white. If I was having an off game, we were going to lose like 20-6.
Mm-hmm.
If I was having a good game, might win, might be close. You know, it's up in the air. But Temzi was probably the worst rogue I've ever played with consistently.
Do you think Leo's a better rogue than Tennessee?
I think they're around the same level.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
I think that back when gear was very, very hard to get, and there was definitely a bourgeoisie kind of social class in Arcane Legends. Like level 36 to 41. I think that's where Leah really dominated because I mean,
I taught her
no one
rogue
else
at that
could.
level. I remember, but I didn't teach her
Yeah,
that
no one
part.
else could fucking buy the Arcane Ring. It was like 120 mil back when literally a million gold was considered a lot. So, but I would say Monkey, mechanically, I have to give it to him above average, but very slightly above average. That's not a compliment. Not in any means. I mean, for playing the game for 5 years, I would expect you to be above average with your mechanical skills, but that's why he's a mage now. He switched to the easiest class. So from there, I mean, Leah, not much I have to say about Leah. I've personally never really liked her. You know, I don't mean that as a sting or a burn. I've just personally never really liked her
But
ever since I joined Purge.
you did say unbiased opinion. So as a player, putting aside that you don't like her, where do you think she
Yeah,
ranks in Purge's lineup? Purge's lineup has
I
six
think
people, I think.
I think that she has some solid plays. I think that she's definitely a better mage than rogue. Um, I think that I gave her a lot of tips as a mage.
Oh, I know about
I
that.
feel like that might have helped, but I think she's a pretty decent mage. Like if I had to if I had to choose between Aiko or Leah, I mean I would choose Aiko, but or Homie or Mondo. But
Dude, Mondo was a
I need to get
beast.
to Mondo actually. But yeah, Leah's decent, very decent, extremely average. No, I'm kidding, but she's decent. Yeah, while it's on my mind, Mondo Grosso, easily one of the best mages I've ever played with. He was like the heart of a lot of clashes, honestly. When Temsey just couldn't kill, Mondo would be right there and he would just scoop up a bunch of kills. Um, yeah, I really liked Mondo. I'm sad that, he doesn't really play anymore. I'm glad that he doesn't get to see what Purge has become, but, I'm just kind of sad he doesn't play anymore.
He was never a toxic player. Mondo was never. He just played his clashes. I don't know if
He
you.
just played. He really never talked. He would just say LOL or, like XD, something like that.
Yeah.
But from Mondo, have I done Zix yet? I don't think
No,
I have.
I think you were saving Ziggs for last because. Uh,
Yeah, let's save Zix for last. Um, from there, let's go to Glittery.
all right.
So Glittery, I personally think that mechanically he's really good. I think that he's a fast player. I just don't think that he has the experience. Like he does. Like obviously, if you play tank, you're gonna know you're gonna know the basics for a rogue. So
He has that
I don't
going
know
for
much
him. I
about him.
remember
I
that.
don't know much about him at all. I don't know if he was a tank first or a rogue first, but I think he's a solid player. I mean, his tank, his tanking is really good. I think that he deserves his spot on the honor leaderboard for his tank, but um, his rogue, he makes some stupid mistakes occasionally. Uh, I would like to see him clash more though.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it would
agree.
be a little bit of a challenge.
I think he wants a clash, but I think Purge won't give him the chance because what he's tried like 4 clashes against us,
Most
and
of them were honor.
yeah, most of them were honor, and I think he lost every single one. But he, in my honest opinion, I felt like he did better than Leah. So I don't know why
Yeah,
they swapped him so quickly. So
that's not too hard though. I mean,
yeah,
but I also feel like I'll say this about Glittery. Like I personally don't despise his character, like what he encompasses, but I feel like sometimes he tries way too hard to be Drug
yep,
because like he'll come out with some toxic response after a ranked match. He'll be like, "Oh, you can't aim, you can't do this, you can't
yeah.
do that." When he like blatantly had the better team, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, good job, good job." But um, he'll just go on and on, and that's something that Drug really, really does.
That's
Like
that's
if you set him off, there's very little that'll stop him. Like he'll just keep going for like 4 hours. So that's what Glittery does. But
that's the only
I
real.
think that
Sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
That's the only real character flaw Glittery has, and PvP flaw, where like he doesn't objectively realize, hey, this is a balanced match versus hey, this is not a balanced match. Like, there's a
Mm-hmm.
reason why I have tons of videos against Purge. There's a reason why I don't post a lot of them. It's because I personally think they are not worth my time. Like, you don't see me posting videos with Capio as a tank. Capio's a good guy and everything, but you don't see me posting, oh, they had Capio. You don't see me posting a video
Mm.
with Capio because it's like, okay, what the point? What's the point in that? There's just no point in it. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to record,
it's not
facing Glittery in a 1v1 when, I have my gear and he's at like 5k damage and 6k armor. I
exactly.
mean, Mephisto can carry you for so long, but
You,
once you play another Mephisto player and they outgear you, I mean, there's very little you can do. You can only pray for a proc, and then even then, like you might get a couple kills, which he did. I'll give him that. He got a couple kills,
And pray
but
the
I'm
other
not gonna
player
I'm not gonna record that. I mean, it's kind of pointless. Like
and pray the other player doesn't have Obsidios or something like that because
that shit is broken. Obsidious,
yeah,
whatever the rogue is, whatever the head
dragon.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
watch Purge is gonna scour for that. They're gonna scour auction for that pet now. They're gonna be like, please, just sell me it for 300 mil, 400 mil. I'll buy it right now.
and then they're gonna hit up their latest gold buyer and be like, okay, dude, I need 300 mil, I need 400 mil. But I think that's Rip's job though, so he handles that part.
Let's see.
So does Icy, but
Oh, Karn. I need to talk about Karn.
wait,
He's a
wait,
lot like
before
Icy.
you talk about Karn, can we have a 5 minute break? I'll pause the recording right now and we'll resume in about 2 minutes.
Yep.
Hey, so
All
we're
right.
back. I think we left off at Karn, right?
Yep. Yep. So Karn is a lot like Icy. I view him as the male version of Icy. So they're both always maxed. They've always had the best gear possible, and yet they still can't make it work for them.
Yep.
Karn is a very quiet person. I respect him for that. I respect that he just plays the game. He doesn't trash talk. At least I've never seen him trash talk. He just plays the game. That's it. But the company that he keeps is what I'm going to really judge him off of. So, I am a firm constituent for if you are going to associate yourself with the most toxic of people, then you obviously support their decisions, and so you're a proponent for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think at least. So you could be the nicest person ever, but if you join Purge and you enjoy your stay there, then I think that you just agree with them in certain ways at least. Maybe not all the ways, but in certain ways you definitely agree with them.
But
So I think.
sorry, I'll let you finish. I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think as a rogue, he's decent.
Yeah.
Extremely, very, very average. Very average for an endgame rogue. But personality-wise, there's not much there, really. The man's an enigma. The man is an absolute enigma to me. I've never really known him, and he's always very quiet. But he's an enigma.
I will say though, he was a better mage than he was a rogue. His mage was pretty good because
His mage was really good.
I feel like with mage you can account for higher ping and stuff. So I always felt like he shined more on mage than he did on rogue.
Mm, yeah, but there's not much to Karn. We're talking about IGN, Cry, and Rip.
Yep.
Um,
And VSA
let's see,
Mastered.
who else is there
Zix
after
is
VSA?
Zix is the last guy, I think.
Mm,
Melly, I'm not gonna talk about Melly because she doesn't PvP.
see, Melly is such a sweetheart most of the time, but there are times where she just gets on my nerves. She gets on my nerves, and I'm like, why are you being an asshole right now? But I think Melly's a sweetheart. Obviously, I try my best to keep her out of the drama. She doesn't really deserve it. Which leads us to Zix. Zix is half and half. Sometimes he deserves it. Sometimes he doesn't. A lot of the time he catches the heat, and I hope now he realizes that this is the exact situation that I was in for 4 years. He gets all of the blame. If they lose a clash, that's on him. If they win a clash, he's going to get hyped up. But all in all, the reputation of Purge falls on him. And he has not been doing a good job of that because, as toxic as I was, Purge still had allies. Like, we still had guilds that liked us. There are zero guilds, other than maybe Twist, that like Purge, and that would be because Marsu is literally Zix's brother. Like,
Mhm.
come on. But mechanically, Zix is the best rogue in Purge,
That's the thing.
undeniably.
I think he's also
Yeah,
probably, not to inflate his ego, he's probably one of the best players in Purge too. So,
yeah.
uh,
He and Drug.
yeah, and he and Drug would probably be the best player with Nasty coming in a close third. And
Hmm.
so to recap, I guess your order would be, this is my order at least: Zix, Drug, Nasty close third. With they can go, if Nasty switches up his playstyle, he could probably take over Drug spot. And then Spell would probably be the fourth if I had to pick a top team for them.
Who
And
would?
Spell would probably be the fourth. And I'm talking about a TDM
Mm,
team.
yeah, I can see that.
But so what's your opinion on the? Well, actually, if Mondo played, then he would replace Spell in that team.
If
I
Mondo played, he would be in our guild.
Yeah,
I think if Mondo played, he would be absolutely horrified at what he would come back to in Purge and be like, "Fuck this," and join Fiend.
mm-hmm.
But I think Zix is solid rogue. Definitely, I would put Drug as the shining jewel of Purge, so to say. The diamond in the shit. Not the diamond in the
rough,
rust, but
rough, yeah.
the diamond in the shit. Um, and then Zix is definitely up there, close second, I would say. And then I like clash wise, importance wise, I would put Spell before Terror, but like experience wise, I would put Terror before Spell.
Yeah, just because of how important Mage is in the Clash.
Yeah, but this is you know this is just my opinion. I'm sure that they think that they're just the best team possible. Honestly, unstoppable. Obviously,
You kind
it's
of have to
not true,
believe
but
that. You kind of have to believe that. I don't blame them though, because you kind of have to believe that in order to continue PvP. Nobody enters PvP and says, "Damn, I suck. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep on chugging along." No, you have to tell yourself, "No, I am the best player, and this is why I fuck shit up." That's how it goes. That's just how it goes. So I'm not gonna blame them for thinking they are, but I mean, just look at the win history and they can see, because even the wins they did have, they literally had back in like 2017. They literally had to like take people from my guild in order to start winning. Do you remember that, the whole like let's steal people from each other's guild kind of thing?
yeah, I do.
So half the wins like ended up coming from there. So not even half. I probably exaggerated a little bit, but you know what I mean. You get my point. So I firmly believe that my point was that you have to think of yourself like I am the shit. That's how people continue PvP. Otherwise, they would never PvP.
That's true. That is very, very true. But I think it's important, for anyone watching that notice how Parth and I didn't bring up any scandalous things. We didn't really bring up anything that is necessarily super offensive. I'm sure that they're gonna cry about. Terror Shop would probably cry that we ranked him third, but um,
We
we
didn't
didn't really
mention
bring up anything super personal because we're just not petty. Boils down to that. We're
we're
not
not petty,
petty.
and then the other thing is I won't say something against a player unless I know 100% is true and I can prove it. That's just my philosophy. Like uh, when you said, "Hey," sorry, the screenshot going back to, remember I was told you, was like, "Dude, Terror asked for us back," and you never
Mm.
quite believed it, right? And then you saw the screenshots and you're like, "Oh shit, it was true." So
Yeah, it's too bad because I left for a month to do records, and I guess they took that as my resignation. And so during this entire time, they're like, "Please come back, please come back, please play." Oh my god! We need you for precise. We need you for blah blah blah. We need you for this dude. We need you for that dude. I'm like, holy shit! Do you guys like realize I literally quit because I felt like I was working a fucking 8 to 8 job. It literally felt like I would go into an office, all right, sit down for like 12 hours a day and just help these people get over their real life issues because obviously there's something going on.
Hmm.
Because if you have to focus that hard on a game, there's something going on. But
Exactly.
you know, it was really stressful. I took a break, came back, played some PVE with Chris and his guild, and they hated that. They were like, "Wow, you're playing with that gay dude," and I'm like, "Wow, you guys are still on that, huh?" They used to absolutely shit roast him because of things that this society and age, no one really cares.
Mhm.
Like, who cares if someone's gay?
Yep.
But I digress completely.
I did want to ask
Um,
one more thing for you because I think you forgot to mention this, but it's something. So I noticed Tershak just keeps on calling you mental and stuff. Do you want to give
oh
your? Do
yeah,
you want to give your? Because I'm pretty sure you want to talk about this. Do you want to give your reasoning why he does this and why he's just a little bit senile himself for playing this
oh
game
yeah. Let me
like
let
that?
me explain. So this past year, um, well, in 2020 was a bad year. You know, um, just a couple bad events. I was. I mean, I'll admit, like it was really stressful. It wasn't fun. I mean, I wasn't on the brink of suicide, whatever he thinks of that, I guess. But it was a bad year. Um, but he thinks for some reason that I'm like on the verge of a psychotic break or something, and that can't be farther from the truth. I don't think anyone that's hyper depressed or on the brink of suicide could pull off a 3.9 at one of the top universities in America. So it's just a little confusing to me as to why he thinks that calling someone mental is an insult when they know for a fact that they're not. I mean, I literally like I see him say that and I just kind of laugh a little bit. It's kind of funny that he's like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely gonna get him." He's probably like hyping himself up like in the line group chat. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get him this time, guys." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, call him mental again." And that'll get him riled up. No, it really like I'm kind of disappointed. Terrashock always had like the best roasts. I always thought that some of the things that he did say, that weren't super personal were pretty funny.
Yeah, so he does have a sense of humor, but I feel like he can. A lot of the time, he's self-reflecting when he's coming with these personal insults and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Makes me wonder. I'm like, okay, dude, what's so fucked up in your life that you're trying to insult people? It's like, come on, man. And that's why they never want to compare lives. Like, if they don't want to be personal, I don't want to get into specifics because that's also messed up. But they don't like comparing lives because they know if they do, they're gonna have to self-reflect, and it makes them realize, oh shit, maybe I'm not going on the right path of life. Maybe I'm not doing the right things. This is probably why my life is not progressing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they lash out by being toxic in PvP because naturally, as a person, you want to be better. You want to be best. You want to think like you're achieving something. So, people do it in various different ways. It's either by being amazing in your skill set or your craft, or belittling other people in any way you can. It's just
Yep.
how you are as a person. So,
Yep. But I will say this, like, as just a general message, for anyone that's watching, if you never know what's going on in someone's life or how they may handle it, the smallest of triggers can really set someone off. And if they do get put into that darkest of places and they are actually contemplating suicide, that's probably not the best idea to try and push someone towards that. Just like from a legal standpoint, would you rather get sued for the mental distress, which would carry over to court? Usually doesn't, but in suicide courses it would definitely carry over in court. Would you rather get sued, or would you rather just leave that alone?
But
You
that's
can
a
you can say something like, if someone's like, all right, so I'll just give the personal experience. Like 2020, totaled my car. Full disclosure, totaled my car. Wasn't my fault, but totaled my car. Um, I was really upset about it. Like I wasn't like crying every day, eating a tub of ice cream in my bed, watching sad chick flicks because I'm fucking depressed out of my mind. No, I mean, like, literally, I was just like, okay, well, looks like I need to get a new car. That's the joys of living in an upper middle class family, I guess. But you know, um, to someone else, that comes from a very, very, struggling family, something like that could absolutely destroy that person. Like, their parents could be like, how could you do this? That was like our only, mode of transport. And
mm,
so, just to use that example, you come onto a game to escape reality. Like, that's the point of Arcane Legends. Escape reality for a sec, play in a little world of your own. And you come onto this game, and someone's like, "Oh, you're mental. Go kill yourself." That is, kind of like the lowest of the low. He can make as many videos as he wants saying, I'm psychotic. But, he likes to, what is he sends the suicide hotline, right? I think
mm,
that's the number for the suicide hotline or something.
yeah.
He sends that a lot. I find it really funny, honestly, but some other person might not. And as much as I don't like Terror Shock in the game, I'd rather he not get put in prison for 10 to 20 years for inciting suicide. But it is what it is. Whatever floats your boat.
You just don't want to
But
say that to the wrong person. You never know. Like, may not be to you,
you
but maybe
never know.
maybe somebody else. That's why I don't ever do shit like that. But I mean, it's his life, his choices, and we've seen how it's paying off for him. So that's totally. I mean, he gets to live his own consequences. So I don't
Yep.
care too much
But
about that.
to reverse it for a second, if he wants to talk about mentality and such mentalities, just an example. This is why I was talking to Bang, I think, about this. I kind of think that Terror Shock might be a schizophrenic. And that's not like, I'm not trying to roast him or anything. Not a general concern, just putting that out there. Might be schizophrenic because a couple of times he would make a line to contact us for a clash or whatever. And so one of these times he made a line, no profile picture, a period for a name. He's like, Chris, come clash. And I'm like, okay, just a second. And someone else was asking for his line. I think it was Dazio, who was in our guild.
Mm-hmm.
Who was in our guild. He was asking for Terror Shock's line, and so I gave it to him. And Dazio messages him, and he's like, Terror Shock? And Terror instantly snaps on me. He's like, why would you give out my line? Why would you give out my line, my personal information? I'm like, dude, it's just a line. He's in our guild.
You can
Your
delete
line
it.
ID is Terror Shock 1. And he's like, I can't believe it. And he deleted his line instantly and kicked Dazio from the guild. So if you want to talk about psychotic actions, I firmly believe that that would constitute a psychotic action. But correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I've personally seen that too, because when I was in Purge at one point, he also made line for a few times. He did not like. He was just, how would I say this? Very, his behavior was very strange in that respect. So I'm not
His
gonna
behavior
comment
is
too. I'm
strange.
not gonna comment too much about it, other than that. But there were things that made me think, I'm like, dude, it's a line, and line is literally designed for video games. There's a reason why people use that and not Facebook. It's not like I gave away your Facebook Messenger account, and it's not like I'm telling people like you are to go look up people in real life, which I know you guys have because I can check my LinkedIn history and I see who's looking me up. So I'm not stupid. You're not stupid. So let's not be like this. All right. But yeah. And oh, I guess I wanted to talk about that. Since I saw that, I guess you guys realized that, oh shit, maybe I did make something of myself. So, but
Yeah, sure.
all right. that guy is. I will definitely agree with your opinion on him. Well, I think that's
Yeah,
it.
but
Is there anything else to talk about, or because we're getting a little bit off topic, I don't want to get too much into the.
I think the next topic should be, the future of doing these. So I had talked to you about it, and I I'm sure like you would love feedback on this. The question is, should we do more of these? But like this is just like a recap summary of the most frequently asked questions to date. But those frequently asked questions could change.
Mhm.
So my question is, would people like to see more chats about like what we think the meta in the game is for PvP, what we think about running something like a map, or just general advice.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I would love to do something like that. I would, if anybody wants like weekly coffee time episodes or something like that, where you can just listen while you're driving to work or driving back. I'm totally down for that. It doesn't really take me much editing to do because I don't cut anything out. I'm literally just going to post this as is. So I would be
Mm-hmm.
down for that, and I think Chris is down too. So let us know in the comments what you would
Yeah, it would
like
just
us to
be like
talk
a
about.
weekly, you know, description of what we thought about that week, whatever was implemented, maybe our upcoming ideas on the expansion, stuff like that.
Yep. And
It can be PvP, it can be something else. It can be real life if you wanted. I mean,
yeah,
I'm pre-med,
if you guys want to
you're
ask
you're comp
questions,
sci.
if you want to ask questions about how to be a doctor, I'm sure Chris would love to answer. If you want questions about how to start your career in tech, I would love to answer too. So it doesn't have to be just Arcane Legends. And we'll try if this becomes a positive response. We will probably try to keep this up as long as COVID goes on. After COVID, I can't really make any promises because I'm also a busy guy. Chris is as well. So who knows after COVID? But at least while COVID's occurring, um, this is definitely something that could be a weekly event. So you guys let us know. Thanks for listening in and enjoy.
Yeah,
Any last words,
I
Chris?
hope you enjoy it.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.